Well, we've got breaking news in this Olympic update. Everybody breathe a sigh of relief because Team USA is on to the gold medal game after what was another late dramatic victory. This time, courtesy of Sophia Smith, who scored off the perfect pass from Mallory Swanson in the first half of extra time. That lifted the Americans past Germany 1-0 in the semifinals. Oh, by the way, goalkeeper Alyssa Nair with the save of the game late in that one to keep it 1-0. So that means Team USA is on to the gold medal match where they will take on the winner between Spain and Brazil. The final of the Olympics in women's soccer coming your way this Saturday, which, by the way, would be Sophia Smith's 24th birthday. No one better to react to what we just saw on the pitch than our good friend Jimmy Conrad. Jimmy, it's always good to see you and talk soccer. And when we've got to talk about Emma Hayes' squad gutting out these late victories here in the Olympics, what was the most impressive part, in your opinion, about this win?
I would say a little bit of grit, ultimately, just finding a way, even though the players looked a little bit tired and Germany had to play the same amount of games. And I think what's interesting about the Olympics in particular is that you have a game every 3 days. And that feels a little bit different than the World Cup, where it's 4 or 5 days between games. And I thought the team looked a little tired, looked a little leggy, and maybe didn't have that same type of flow and rhythm that we had seen in previous games. However, when speaking about a great team and a team that's on the precipice of winning something of consequence, like a gold medal in this particular instance, they found a way to win. And I think that's a character trait of a championship type team. And it's nice to see the U.S. women's national team back in this situation. This is their first gold medal game since 2012. It's been a while since they've been back in this situation. But I've actually really loved the front three in particular. Trinity Rodman's got 3 goals. We have Sophia Smith now has 3 goals. Mallory Swanson has 3 goals. Pretty evenly balanced. And I think that makes us very unpredictable in the attack for the other teams. And that's a good sign of a healthy attack and a team that we needed to see, because after the World Cup in 2023, we needed to be more dynamic once again. And here we are with a bunch of our top players scoring a bunch of goals.
I want to get to the big three in a minute because I want them to have their own shining moment on this segment. But first, I want to talk about the leader of this ship. There was a lot of, let's say, question marks for people who aren't as involved in the soccer space when it came to a new head coach and Emma Hayes taking over, especially when you think about how disappointing the World Cup was a year ago for Team USA. And we were talking before we even came up about Crystal Dunn's role on this team and how effective she's been at distributing the ball, getting her team going. When it comes to the coaching with Emma Hayes, what has stood out to you about how she has managed this team to get them to this point?
I would say making tough decisions, which isn't easy for coaches. We could go back to the last one, Vlatko Andonovski, who was coaching the team during the World Cup in 2023 in Australia. And he had some tough decisions to make. You're transitioning from a team that had won back-to-back World Cups in 2015 and 2019. And it was hard to let go of some of those players. Let's say Megan Rapinoe, who was on the team and who we all adore, but maybe she wasn't as sharp as she could have been in that tournament. Alex Morgan is another name that maybe isn't playing at the peak that she once was. And it's very hard to leave those players off. They are so integral to the team and so much success. And so now Emma Hayes comes in and she's like, Alex Morgan doesn't fit with my plans. I'm leaving her off the Olympic team, which everybody at US Soccer and all the marketing people are like, what are we doing? That's crazy. But it just speaks to the stat that I said before. We've scored 11 goals in this tournament, and 9 of them have been scored by our front three. And it was evident at the World Cup in 2023 that Alex Morgan, though effective in her own way, but that just forced, when she's up high, Sophia Smith out wide. And that's not the best position for Sophia Smith. We put her up top in this particular tournament. She scored the winner today. She's got 3 goals overall. And just her coordination and timing and movement and rhythm with Mallory on one side and Trinity on the other, it's just injected straight into my veins. I absolutely love it, and it makes us unstoppable. We obviously going to have a lot of work to do no matter who we're playing against in the final, either Brazil or Spain. But that said, I feel like we just look better, and we have ideas, and we have purpose in how we want to play. And I think Emma has also come in and established that with our team. How are we attacking? How do we want to attack? How do we want to defend? It just feels like everything's a lot more clear and concise, and that just makes it more obvious in terms of our performances that we're going to win more games than we lose. We played 5 games in this tournament. we've won all 5, and we've taken down some pretty big names.
Yeah, and you have to remember, Emma Hayes does have ties to American soccer even before her time at Chelsea. And I love this quote. I wanted to share this before we talk about the big 3. She said, quote, "I was lucky to be born in England, but made in America." So I love sort of the bringing together of 2 cultures. And like we said, we've got Team USA back in that gold medal match. And it's because they're finally scoring goals. Jimmy, let's talk about that big 3, because whether it's Mal, whether it's Trinity, whether it's Sophia, they're finding ways. And, you know, this game looked a little bit different, right? Because I think we got spoiled in group play where they were just knocking goals in left and right. But now you're seeing those big stars sort of transition in those big moments as well. So how have you just sort of seen that group come together, and what should we be expecting here in the final?
Well, I think we're going to expect a little bit more of what we've seen in the knockout rounds, where Japan got a little bit tighter, right? They're trying to get Trinity early in terms of putting her under pressure right away so that she can't run at teams. If you allow Mallory Swanson or Sophia Smith or Trinity Rodman to run at you, you're going to be in big time trouble. And I thought Germany was excellent in doing that today as well. They really just tried to either get that first person to slow her down, and then they had extra cover. So even if that first person got beat, then there was cover right there. And that's just going to make Trinity frustrated. When Trinity gets frustrated, or any top attacking players get frustrated, they start to maybe more rash in their decision making, trying to do too much. And so I think what I love about this front 3 in particular, though, is that they can hurt you in so many different ways. So you have Trinity Rodman, who can beat you in 1v1 situations. Mallory and Sophia can do the same. And then they can also combine, and they're looking to combine. And the goal that we scored against Japan, there was a little bit of Crystal Dunn hits a ball up over the top, and then Trinity has a little bit of magic. She curls it in with her left side. This time, Mallory did an excellent job of checking in off of the back 4, receiving the ball into space, and then Sophia Smith, just the timing of her run, found herself in a good spot. Mallory plays a dangerous ball in. Germans get a little bit confused as to who's going to actually do it. Sophia gets there first, and then we score. So there's a lot of different ways that we can attack. I think really in terms of the buildup, this is something to watch out for in the final, is that teams are now starting to stack the midfield. So it's harder for Lindsay Horan and Rose Lavelle and Sam Coffey to drive the game, right? So they're trying to stifle that, which means if they're going to step into midfield and make it difficult, there's going to be spaces, pockets of space that we can take advantage of in behind. So that's something that I thought we did a little bit of today, and I think we'll probably see a little bit more of it in the final as we try to prepare for whatever opponent that's going to be.
Of course, that will be either Spain or Brazil. Spain, of course, coming off of that big World Cup victory last year. They've just been on the up and up. It is important to note that Marta will not be playing in that game for Brazil. I think her suspension was upheld, so she will be out because of that red card. If you're Team USA, Jimmy, and you're getting ready to watch this game unfold between who you will play, is there a preference on who you want to see in that gold medal game?
I mean, that's a great question. I think from a sporting perspective, right? I'd be like, I think we match up better, a little better against Brazil, and we have some success with them. Spain are a different gravy. Obviously, a ton of success with the Women's World Cup, a ton of confidence. They have some of the world's best players that are playing at Barcelona, in particular, who just won the Women's Champions League. So they're doing something right. So Spain makes me a little bit nervous. However, from a competitive standpoint, bring on Spain, okay? We want to be the best. I want to beat the best, and I think we have the team that can go toe-to-toe with any other team in the world. So in some ways, I kind of leaning more towards Spain because I want us to regain our dominance in this space. Right now, Spain are the queens on top of this.
Of course, they beat Brazil 2-0 in group play, and now we're seeing them meet again. But either way, Jimmy, it's going to be a fun one. We know for sure one half of that matchup will be Team USA. We'll have to wait and see who the other half is, but we appreciate you hopping on HQ with us to get us ready for all the action coming in that gold medal match. Team USA looking for gold medal number 5 and their first since the London 2012 games. In the meantime, head over to the Attacking Third podcast, the crew recapping what we just saw unfold in the semifinals on their YouTube page. So head there if you want instant reaction, but also scan that QR code on your screen to get locked in to